Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, I'm Adiola Praise, and on this channel, I create videos on productivity, self-development, and academics. So this video is actually the second episode of a new series on my channel titled Perfectionism series. And in this series, I'll be treating everything there is to know about perfectionism. So last week, I uploaded the first episode of this series, and I'll be leaving the link in the description box below. You can do well to check out that video even before watching this episode. So all that said, let's get into today's video. After making a research on perfectionism, I've discovered that most people see this as a really bad trait. Being a perfectionist myself, I've experienced both the upsides and the downsides of perfectionism. To be sincere, perfectionism actually has more disadvantages. But then, anytime I look at the advantages of being a perfectionist, I sometimes tell myself that it's actually worth being one. These days, saying that you're a perfectionist in a job interview is now considered as a weakness. All of this made me ask myself, is there any good to being a perfectionist? From a personal analysis and some added research, I'll be sharing with you some benefits of being a perfectionist. But then, as I list out the benefits, I'll be talking about the downsides. That is, I'll be sharing with you the pros and cons alternatively. The first benefit is that perfectionists have high standards, hence they don't struggle to meet up to the standards of others. Once they take hold of something, they definitely want to make the best out of it. Personally, this has motivated me to achieve more rather than settle for less. Also, it has enabled me to make use of whatsoever tools I have at my disposal in the most effective way I can. But like I said, most of the perfectionism traits have their own downsides. And the downsides of having a very high standard is that you end up stretching yourself too thin just to meet up to high expectations, which can be sometimes unrealistic. And this is also one of the reasons why most perfectionists don't work in teams, because sometimes they prefer to work independently. And this is mainly because they might end up stressing out those around them, because those people might not see things in their own perspective or might not be able to meet up to their own standards that they've set for themselves. The second benefit of being a perfectionist is that they always end up with a more polished result. Their end results usually have little or no mistakes to fix because they've looked out for everything that might go wrong before putting out their work for others to see. This actually earns them the respect that they deserve and leaves others in wonder of how they're able to pull off such a perfect work. The downside of this is that you waste too much time trying to come up with this your perfect work, and you end up doing this to the detriment of other equally important tasks or projects. Now, moving on to the third benefit. Perfectionists pay attention to details. This actually makes their work stand out from others. They will go the extra mile to put in little details that others were not even thinking about. Now, this is an added advantage to you if you have an employee that is a perfectionist, because they give in a lot of dedication and interest into whatever they find themselves doing. Personally, giving attention to details has actually helped me in so many ways. And one very strong advantage of this is that it makes you go deeper into whatever you are doing. Like, it gives you an understanding of the underlying principles governing your work because you are interested in every single detail. For instance, anytime I'm filming a video, I always look at little details such as my body language, my speaking rate, how well am I engaging the audience, like, is there anything going on wrong? All this has actually made me understand the underlying principles of public speaking, and this has even gone to the editing of my videos and other stuff like that. But then this has its own downsides. And one very noticeable downside of paying attention to details is that you might lose focus of the original idea of the work itself and start paying attention to little things that are sometimes unnecessary. Another downside of paying attention to details is that you become really aware of mistakes, and this is actually a very common habit to most perfectionists. They are very good at citing imperfections in their work. Moving on to number 4, perfectionists have increased level of perseverance. They're willing to see something built from nothing to perfect if that can be achieved, and they don't mind working for long hours. This actually increases their ability to stick with something even when others can't see the importance or usefulness. But then the downside of this is that you spend ridiculous amounts on projects, and you might find yourself in this cycle of abandoning projects for some time and then returning to it later on. Another downside is that you do all of this to the detriment of your health, your sleep, and even your relationship with other people. Now, the last benefit I'll be talking about is that perfectionists don't accept failure from themselves. This allows them to explore all of their potentials just to get the work done. But then, just as this can be an advantage, it is actually the most negative downside of being a perfectionist. Like I said in the first episode, perfectionists have this all or nothing way of thinking, hence, they see good enough, almost perfect, as failures. And this actually leads to depression, anxiety, and other mental health issues. So those are the benefits of perfectionism I was able to come up with after making a deeper analysis of my own perfectionism and also doing some added research. The fact is that everyone has a little bit of perfectionism in them. Some just seem to prevail than the others, and it also depends on how well you are able to manage it and how well you are able to ensure that it doesn't take the best part of you. And that is what we'll be treating in the next episode of the Unperfectionism series. So you should definitely watch out for that episode. Also, if you haven't checked out the first episode of the Unperfectionism series, please do well to do that now. I'll be leaving the link in the description box below. So that's all for this video. Please, before you go, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and make sure you turn on notifications to my channel so that you'll be aware when next I upload the next video or the next episode of the Unperfectionism series and any other video on my channel. So thanks for watching.